how to rewrite your story so you can lead with confidence. We all have bad stories. We all have bad outcomes. It's what you do with that bad outcome. It's what you do with the story in your head. How do you make that story in your favor instead of against you? You know, whether you fell off the stage, whether you are giving a presentation and you realize you left the presentation on the table and you got to fling it and it doesn't go well. Or, you know, you're in a meeting and they're talking about something, you raise your hand, you say something, and it's a lead balloon. It wasn't on track. It was nothing. It was so bad. How do you rewrite that story? Acknowledge the story. Acknowledge the story. You raised your hand. You gave an answer. Everybody looked at you like, where'd that come from? In your mind, you got to tell yourself a different story, that you were brave enough to raise your hand, that you were brave enough to tell your story. And that when they looked at you, they looked at you and they said, oh, that's not a bad idea. Let's put that in the parking lot and revisit that again. Or, that's an interesting concept. We're not quite talking about that yet, but we're going to get back to that. So thank you for sharing it. Create a new empowering narrative. Tell yourself, like I said, you overcame the challenge, you raised your hand, you gave your viewpoint. Don't dwell on the fact that, oh my gosh, I raised my hand and my answer was not even close to what anybody was talking about. My answers just said I didn't know what they were talking about. And I've been down this road where I've raised my hand and answered questions and realized I was not even in the same stratosphere with these guys. My answer was the answer when they were giving A answers. But the story I told myself was, hey, I raised my hand in this room of powerful people and I gave my point of view and they all listened to me respectfully. And at the end, the leader, not somebody around the table, the leader looked at me and said, that's an excellent point. We're going to table that, but let's revisit that later. Instead of saying, wow, that was out of left field. That's the story I tell myself. And then embody your new story. Embody that. Like, you know what? I was treated with such respect in that room. They understand that I am a force and I'm a voice to be reckoned with, that I know my stuff. And the more you tell yourself, the more you rewrite your story, the more you will lead with confidence. It doesn't matter if your story is a horrendous outcome. It doesn't matter if they said, what's the answer to 2 plus 2? And you raised your hand and said 15. In that story, you rewrite it as, when I raised my hand and said 15, they were like, it could very well be 15 if we looked at it like this, and they reprogrammed their thinking. Support your mistakes. Don't beat yourself up with them. Learn from them and then rewrite them. And as you rewrite them, your confidence will become much more powerful. So learn how to rewrite your story, change your narrative, and you will completely and totally change your life. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. I'm Karen Barnard. I help women find their blue rose.